Hi guys, I thought that I would do this is my messy pantry. As you can see, I've got a old dresser that I'm supposed to be redoing that I haven't gotten to yet. It's kind of been on my list of things to do, but because it's inside and it's not food or growing or anything, it got put on the back burner. It just keeps getting further and further back. But you know what? When I get to it, it's going to be beautiful. So I'm not worried. I have some cases of green beans. You can see I've bought some store-bought spaghetti sauce. My tomatoes did not do well this summer. Last summer I had so many tomatoes, I was sick of them. I made ketchup, taco sauce, barbecue sauce, stewed tomatoes, tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce. What else did I make? Taco sauce. Oh, all sorts. I just made so much stuff last year with tomatoes. I diced them up and I froze them. I had tomatoes. And then this year, nothing. So I did take all of there's my squash. As you can see, this is a catch-all sometimes. There's some green beans I did, some corn I did. Pickled beets. I love pickled beets. And then you've got a few remnants of old canned goods, like canned goods, as we're moving from store-bought canned goods to home processed canned goods. And then I've got some MREs. These are all my empty boxes. That shelf was full. This one here where I've got all of the like specialty jars that aren't like regular canning jars, but I put all my dried goods into it and cleaned out my shelving up in the kitchen this weekend. So this is where I keep like a lot of the jars and stuff that are different jars, whereas these are like canning jars. Although I see that there's one full and what is that? Peppers? I had my glasses on, I'm too far away. Oh, dill pickles. Yeah. They're a little mushy for my husband. He won't like them. I will eat them though. And here's some more squash. There's the squash. And potatoes. Here are the potatoes I got. Remember I said I got a whole bunch of potatoes. And they just kind of keep on going. And they go to the end and there's another squash. There's a Hubbard squash. And then there's more of the empty cans. And these are like, I try to put the pints on one side and the quarts on the other. Now a lot of those quarts have been full. There's some summer squash, which is probably just going to go to seed. There's the quarts used to be really full, but I've got them in the fridge full of goat milk now that I'm milking the goat. And tonight we made our first goat cheese. A little different than what I expected. There's always a learning curve when you first start stuff. And the learning curve is you just put the salt in before the cheese is done. So I would put it in I would imagine I would put it in when the milk gets to be 180 degrees. And then I would put the salt in, stir it a few times, and then I'd put the vinegar in. I think my daughter told me that I could put herbs into a tea bag. And then as the milk is heating up, you can keep it that way, and that will give your milk some herbal taste to it, but you can pull it out so there's no pieces left, which is a really interesting idea. But now the problem is what herbs do I want to use? I mean, this is my first time making cheese, so it's a little different. But anyway, I wanted to come down here and show you this because this will now motivate me to get my husband down here. I want to run shelving on that section beside right where it's at, and then to the corner. I'm going to leave that one there because that one's okay for like jars that are empty. I like the thought of having an empty jar storage. I suppose you could put them back behind the jars when you pull them out. But as you can see, it's nowhere near tall enough. It's deep enough, but I want it taller. And I also want a shelving unit that instead of having this particle board, I want wood that runs, slats that run across, and then I want hardware cloth so that I can keep my potatoes. These are more potatoes, obviously. I can keep my potatoes and my squash and stuff on a rack that has airflow all the way around it, so there's way less chance of it spoiling or having an issue with the drying. But I'm not going to be able to do it there. I had thought maybe I would bring another shelving out this way because I want to stay away from the lights. There's lights over there, and I don't want to be anywhere near the light. You want your stuff in the dark. So when the lights are off, this is a very dark corner. But that setup there for those shelving, but it almost looks like I could move that. Never really looked at it. They're just, whatever that is, 2x8, 2x10s, 2x8s. I mean, they're stuck up in the joists, and I wouldn't want to put that kind of pressure on the floorboards. I'd rather have them come up from the bottom. But it was so humid in here, we didn't have a dehumidifier. We've since rectified that. That it just, these are starting to bow, because it's just particle board, and it sucks up the moisture, and then it bows with all that weight. There's a lot of weight in canned goods. They're heavy. I mean, you figure each one's 16 ounces, 24 ounces. You start adding those on, every can is at least a pound. You know, that's a lot of weight. So maybe I'll just run another shelf that way along the wall, or, I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. I really don't know that I want to come out like this way towards me. My other thought had been, and I've seen where people have done it, but see, here's the problem is, see these two windows? There's too much windows. Now this is still stuff that we didn't get rid of because the old owners have, like, there's tile that was used, more tile that was used, different types of stuff in here we didn't get rid of because I didn't know if I was going to have to replace any tile throughout the whole thing. But I think we're just going to make a dump run and get rid of that. And I've seen where people have had shelving that pull out from underneath the stairs. But we've got the two lights, and I've decided that this corner is where I'm going to set up my grow lights, because that's southern, that's eastern. If I ran just a shelving unit here and a shelving, well, I don't want to be by that water, but I could run one here, and I could run a short one here. I technically, with some grow lights, should be able to, with the supplementation of these windows, the lights coming in, and maybe a little bit of heat, I should be, because I know it's it's more than 55 degrees down here. I should be able to grow lettuce, kale, Swiss chard in here year round. Might be able to start stuff in the winter, but we'll see. But then there's a lot of, like, the big jars are my paint. Those little jars, I don't know what that is. It's not mine. Dog crate's mine. Shop vacs mine. Paint. Dog fishing stuff. So that's going to be my growing corner. And then this over here is going to be the pantry. So I suppose, though, I could run shelving from here to that wall there then, and have like a U-shaped, something that's U-shaped maybe, come here at the end of this, and I'll just leave the water pump in there, come out this way. Yeah, I could put a shelf right here. How much light is that going to get? Really not that much, because the light's way over there. I can always put a curtain over the window too. I think they'll be okay, though. I think if I run it this way, it'd be nice to have like a table in the middle of some sort, or some sort of shelving unit in the middle. Because if I run those there, I could use those two and make like an island in the middle. Oh, sorry about that as I throw you on the floor. That was interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, I could do a little island, kind of like you would in a kitchen. So you'd come in and there'd be a U shape here with a little island here, and I could stock all my stuff there. Well, that's not a bad idea. I like that idea. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, so the back part there's my husband's, there's the storage for the holidays. And then we've got a bunch of just junk that I don't know what we're doing with. And then there's my husband's tools. And behind that is Stephanie's like computer area in her office. And then back in that far corner behind the furnace is John's workout area. There's a big workout machine and stuff. And then we've just got more storage in here. Those are all empty boxes I need to get rid of. And then there's a chair I'm working on. Some wood we need to get rid of. We need a dump run. This is all school stuff for the first grade class that I'm not teaching because I did STEM instead. There's a couple of really cool old mid-century chairs I'm going to reupholster. Because eventually, if I can move all this stuff here and have a little U-shaped thing, there's a TV here. I'd like to bring my DVD down and be able to come down here and watch TV maybe, all quietly on my own. Just a little, everyone needs a quiet spot. And you know, sometimes it's nice to have a quiet spot. It's nice to have a place to come and watch a DVD. I have a bunch of DVDs I never got rid of, only because they're like some of my favorite movies. Some of them are old. They're like stuff I watched, Abbott and Costello from when I was a kid that I watched. And so, yeah, I kept them because I can't find that on YouTube or anywhere else to watch. So, yeah, so that's just what I'm telling you. Let me know if you have any other ideas. But if the shelving goes up, because see how much room there is? I don't want that much room. I want, on the bottom shelf, I want that much room so that I can slide cases of stuff underneath. Obviously not the MREs because those, I don't want them to get wet. But then I don't need that much space. We can have a row for quarts, and then a row for quarts, and a row for pints, and a row for quarts. And I'm still not right here, so I'm still at my height, my reach level. They're not super tall. And then there'd be room on top for storing things like, I don't know, a new box of jars or something. They go all the way to the end. And then that would put up all this food, plus some more of this stuff that I've got saved. That'd be nice. And maybe in the center is where I put the shelving units that I make with the hardware cloth and the boards, so that I can put up all of my potatoes and that kind of stuff. I'm going to figure out something to do with. And then, when I get the carrots next year, I want to grow enough carrots to save through the year. And I know you like to keep those in sand, so I'll just get Rubbermaid totes and food grade sand, and then you can bring them down here and put them in the sand, and they should stay all winter. So there's not a lot of food here. I know people are like, oh, well, this pantry, I've got, 20 jars of spaghetti sauce. Well, that's half a year of spaghetti if you have it once a week. So, and it sounds like a lot, but when you do the math, it's a lot more than that. So there's our new dehumidifier. Cute, isn't it? And we got it so it drives right into where our drain goes, and we never have to empty it. Poor thing's gonna run non-stop. It's down to 63%, which is way better than it was. Because it gets humid here, and then it got hot, and so stuff was sweating. So that's gonna make a world of difference down here, and in the house. You don't want that humidity down here. We have one upstairs, but it was making other things that were way more expensive rust, so we had to stop that immediately. All right, guys, thanks for looking at my pantry there, and I will talk to you later. Bye.